PDX Mods is finally here for City Skylines 2. What does that mean? It means CS2 finally has official modding support and official platform where you can add mods into your game. Unfortunately, as many of you know, if you've been following some development roadmaps and things, this is a beta version of it, this time officially, unlike the base game. So only mods, code mods, and maps are currently available, not custom assets. Those will arrive much later. Anyways, there is also a new DLC, the beach properties, so let's talk about that too. I received access to all of this a week earlier by Paradox. This video comes out on Sunday 24th, and it will be available together with big game patch tomorrow on Monday 25th. So let's start with looking at PDX Mods. When you click the button Paradox Mods, it's first going to get the updates of all the mods. In the meantime, I could probably mention that you will need Paradox account to be able to use PDX Mods. So if you are like me and you haven't played any other Paradox games, apart from CS1 I guess, or you just don't need account for that, then you will have to create it for PDX Mods. Anyways, it's going to open the window Paradox Mods, as you can see over here. It's first going to put you on the featured page. There's some information in here. Here it's clearly mentioning how the asset mods are currently not supported. That's just going to be something for later. Now, there we have the browse page. This is all very similar to Steam Workshop, how you've been using it for the past couple of years. You know, filters, searching, sort by, those kinds of things. So I can, for example, filter only code mods. There are 31 mods available right now. A lot of them I have already covered in the previous video about mods because these are some of the mods that were already released through different means. But right now the authors just re-uploaded them to PDX Mods. So here they are. There are some new ones. For example, Move It. So we are going to take a look at that. I'm going to show you what Move It does right now. But there are some other things right now as well. There was, for example, the Plop the Growables by Algernon somewhere. There's FPS limiter, by the way. That's a very nice one, especially for the main menu. Right now I have the main menu capped at 30 FPS, otherwise in the main menu my GPU melts for some reason. Anyways, this is kind of a nice thing, playsets. So it's kind of similar to Skive mod for CS1 if you've been using that. By the way, there is also Skive for CS2. There it is, it's beta again, but it works very similarly, but right now it's slightly less necessary, I guess, because you also have playsets right now here in PDX Mods. It's kind of like collections, I guess, for Steam Workshop, although just a little quicker and easier to use, because you can just create many different collections or playsets. I'm probably going to be confusing the two, and you can just switch between them. You have these kinds of options and things. There's going to be, for example, the indication if the mod is made for the current version of the game. Right now this window does what it's supposed to do. There's not much else to say about it. It's a beta version. There are some features that are clearly missing, but yeah, it's difficult to say anything about it right now because it might be added in the future. And then there is the library window where you're just going to have all the mods installed right now, so you can just browse them like this quickly. Then there are already maps and save games, so let's take a look at those. You can also filter European, North American. Right now that's only going to show you the maps and save games. This was something that I immediately noticed. Rafterman and Z uploaded the Black Dragon Canyon. Look at that. This is obviously with some kind of mod that changes the textures, but still, if this is something that people can do with custom maps, then yeah, that's looking great. This is probably how it's going to look right now from in the game without using those custom textures, but yeah, this looks amazing. There's also, for example, the Fort Johnson, which is the official trailer city for the beach properties. So I'm going to be using that right now because I reinstalled my game. You know, I just wanted to start fresh, so I don't have any save files. So I'm just going to be looking at this city. Otherwise, downloading the mods and maps and save files is exactly the same as in the Steam Workshop, so there's just a big button, you're gonna click it and it's gonna do its thing. The map editor, I probably cannot really comment on much because I'm not a map maker, so I'm not really sure how powerful it is. You know, map makers will have to decide that, but it's there already, so you're gonna be able to do maps tomorrow. Right now, when you download some mods, you have to restart the game. So that's a little bit clunky. I'm not really sure if it's because of the beta version or it's going to be changed in the future. When it comes to downloading the save files and maps, sometimes you just have to click on the Paradox mods, just open it, close it, and then the new game or the games that you downloaded are going to be available then. But again, that's probably just because of the beta version. Anyways, let's jump in and I'm going to show you Move It. Alright, so Move It. There is that familiar button that we all know and love from Cities Skylines 1. Now we finally have it in Cities Skylines 2. It's in early stages of development, so it doesn't have all the features from CS1, but it has the basic things, and that is just moving stuff around. So I'm just going to press M on my keyboard, and it's going to open that familiar selector, so I can just move around these buildings, for example, like this. And there is already the feature to undo things. So when I put the building over there, I can just press Ctrl Z, it's gonna put it back. But it also has redo function right now. So I can press Ctrl Shift Z and look at that, it's gonna bring it right there. That's great. I can do that for networks, of course, just like in CS1, as you can see. When I press Ctrl M, I'm going to toggle between the marquee selector and single selector. So that's exactly the same as in CS1. Right now, it's a little bit clunky to do that. As you can see, FPS goes really low when I just select multiple trees like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that needs some work. But Move It right now also has new feature, and that is basically the functionality of Node Controller. Yeah, that's right. Look at this. So right now, when I hover over a segment of a road, it's going to show me these, control lines, kind of like the tangent lines in CS1. So I can just move around the segment, very similar to CS1. But watch what happens when I press on my keyboard Alt-M. I'm going to enter the manipulation mode, and right now these control lines are actually unlocked for me, and I can move them around disconnected from the rest of these things. So it's actually super similar, it is, I guess, that controlling like Bezier curves with those control lines. Like if you are doing some kind of vector graphics in Inkscape or something like that, and you don't need to just control these points, you can also control the starts. Look at that. You can just do these kinds of offsets. Right now, this is kind of useless, but it's so much more useful for controlling highways. And I can just change this offset in here. And it's actually, look at that, it's even changing the markings, yeah, where the lanes are going. So that's great. I can, for example, manipulate this entrance road right here if I wanted to have that entrance slightly more offset. Look at that. Or I wanted to maybe fix, let's say I build it like this because I just aimed wrong. I can just use Move It and fix it, put it where it needs to be. Kind of going to put this control point into the center of that lane, so that it's looking nice. If I'm not satisfied with all of these edges, then I can just easily change that. So that's really nice. That's a step in a very, very good direction with Move It. I really like these overlapping functionalities of some of the CS1 mods. Oh, and by the way, you don't need to move these lines or points, ends of these lines only horizontally, but also vertically. Look at that. I can just select this point right here and just press page up. And I can also do the shift page up to do it faster and just move it higher. So exactly like in Node Controller, to just manipulate the roads how I want to. So this is useful for some kind of fixing of slopes and those kinds of things. So as you could have seen, there were some 31 mods on PDX Mods right now. It's not a lot, and a lot of them were overlapping with the mods that I already covered because they were uploaded somewhere else before, or I just downloaded them straight from GitHub or something. So there's not really much to talk about right now. Obviously, the mods are in very early stages of development, and some of the mods that we really like from Cities Skylines 1 are just not here. So, PDX Mods is not exactly changing how many mods we have currently, but it's just providing the platform, and most importantly, with the new update to the game, we now have official modding support. Now, that's kind of big. If you, for example, go into the options of the game right now, you can go to modding, and there you have all of these dependencies for for creating mods, right? But it's right there in the game already. So if you want to create mods, you can just start from here. You can go to some kind of guides made by Paradox, made by CO, and follow that. So it's just much more official, much easier, much simplified. You can, for example, read the number 3 dev diary for this patch, which was actually written by Max Sergey, you know, the author of Node Control Renewal, Network Multitool, Intersection Marking Tools from CS1. He was employed by Colossal Order, and he was responsible for doing these kinds of things. So I really have high hopes that this is going to be done right, and we are going to have some really great mod support in the future. But right now, yeah, it's just depending on the mod creators to actually create those mods. So there's just not much to cover at this point. We will just have to wait for those mods. Alright, so the next thing to talk about is the Beach Properties Asset Pack DLC. It's not really like a DLC because you're apparently going to get it for free if you bought the Ultimate Edition, so it's kind of like catching up to what was promised on release. If you don't have the Ultimate Edition, you're gonna have to buy it. I'm not sure if I can say how much it's gonna cost because it's not on Steam. It's gonna be there tomorrow, of course. So let's not. I'm just going to say that, well, I'm not so sure it matches the amount of what you're gonna get, let's say, because at the end of the day, it's just a couple of buildings. They are looking nice, don't get me wrong. These are the North American Beach Properties buildings. There are 3 signature buildings for each style. These are actually, I think, the European signature buildings. No, wait, it's mixed together. Oh yeah, these are the Europeans as well. They're supposed to look like Mediterranean architecture. Yeah, I guess it does. They are looking all right, definitely. But in the end, there are just not that many. And well, there are no beaches in the game. The game just does not have the sand texture right now. So, yeah, this area in the city, in the official trailer city, well, where is the beach, right? Where is the beach for the beach properties? So, yeah, again, there's just not much to talk about. Like, if you like these buildings, then you know, get it. If you don't. That's basically it. I'm just going to zoom into these a little bit more so that you can see how they look. They are detailed a lot in some cases with these fences and things. Oh, and also the DLC comes with new trees, palm trees, to fit those beach areas without the beach, but yeah. And by the way, it's completely new zoning type, so you can access it here in the zoning, and as you can see, NA low density waterfront housing, so it's the waterfront area. But you can place it anywhere in the city. I don't think it's actually limited to just waterfront places. You can just use that for the entire city for low density. At least I was able to, and obviously you can switch between the European and North American styles, just like before with the low density zoning. So again, I'm just going to show you a couple more of these assets. Yeah, so apparently the DLC comes with 70 new assets, although only 10 unique models for each style. So 10 for European, 10 for North American. And you can see exactly how it's done. These buildings, for example, are exactly the same models, but they are different colors. And they have different, you know, the fence and decorations, surface and all of that. And so this chimney is different, as you can see as well. So, you know, if you are like reasonably further away, you won't be able to really tell that they are exactly the same models, I guess. So that's actually done nicely, these kinds of variations. Exactly the same thing is with the European style. Where is it? Over here. Yeah, here it's maybe a little bit more obvious, but there were, for example, some buildings that were like rotated differently on the lot. And yeah, the variations are actually quite good, considering that it's basically just 10 buildings copy-pasted between them. So anyways, some conclusion about all of this. Obviously, the introduction of PDX Mods is a step in the right direction. Right now, it's not really changing much in the short term, because some of the mods, most of the mods, were already available elsewhere, but it's obviously going to be huge for the future, you know, the official modding support and all of those things. Assets are not available right now, so if you want to build custom cities, like highly custom cities right now, You cannot really, so you will just have to wait for that, just like I'm going to wait for that. So I'm not exactly going to jump into CS2 right now because there's just not much to do for me. The release of PDX Mods is definitely not fixing the game underneath. It's not like PDX Mods is released right now, so the game is good already and everything past is forgotten. No, it's unfortunately not like that. The base game is still what it is. There's going to be a big patch tomorrow as well. You're going to be able to read all the patch notes tomorrow, but you know, the game is the same basically, so it is what it is. It still has the underlying problems that I consider important and many others as well, I guess. So unfortunately, there's that. The Beach Properties Asset Pack DLC, there's a little bit of a strange situation with it, of course, because many of you will think, why are they releasing a DLC with the game being what it is right now? But I guess it's not really a DLC, it's part of the Ultimate Edition that was promised at start, so it's kind of catching up to what was supposed to be there, just like Paradox Mods, I guess. So, you know, it's just a little strange overall, but who am I to tell you what to do with your money? You know, if you like it, get it, obviously. Anyways, that is going to be all for this video. It was just supposed to cover the recent news in CS2 and just to show you what's going on, what's happening. But as always, if you are interested in more details, then you can always read the patch notes, the developer diaries, and all this information from Paradox or CO. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.